SAT Section 1, Passage 2. First, I'll explain some vocabulary you might not know. In line 5, the word apothecary is an old word for a pharmacist. In line 9, the word brethren is an old word used by Christians to refer to each other, and it can refer to men and women. In line 19, the word dictum means advice. In line 20, the word chattels means belongings. It means things that you own, usually not people. In line 44, the word taciturn means somebody who is quiet and doesn't really speak very often. In line 52, the word spittoon refers to a very large container, usually a barrel or a jar, which used to be used a long time ago for people to spit in so that they would not spit on the floor. In line 53, the word unsullied means unpolluted. In question 12D, the word emancipating means freeing. To emancipate someone is to set them free. Being Southerners, it was a source of shame to some members of the family that we had no recorded ancestors on either side of the Battle of Hastings. All we had was Simon Finch, a fur-trapping apothecary from Cornwall, whose piety was exceeded only by his stinginess. In England, Simon was irritated by the persecution of those who called themselves Methodists at the hands of their more liberal brethren, and as Simon called himself a Methodist, he worked his way across the Atlantic to Philadelphia, thence to Jamaica, thence to Mobile, and up the St. Stephen's. Mindful of John Wesley's strictures on the use of many words in buying and selling, Simon made a pile practicing medicine, but in this pursuit he was unhappy lest he be tempted into doing what he knew was not for the glory of God, as the putting on of gold and costly apparel. This section is talking about the fact that the family referred to in this book was rather ashamed that they didn't have any famous ancestors in their family history. Instead, they had in their family history an Englishman who was a pharmacist. He was a very religious man, but he was also very stingy. He made a lot of money by his work in pharmacy, but he was not a very happy man. And he left England because of religious persecution and moved to America. So Simon, having forgotten his teacher's dictum on the possession of human chattels, bought 3 slaves and with their aid established a homestead on the banks of the Alabama River some 40 miles above St. Stephen's. He returned to St. Stephen's only once to find a wife, and with her established a line that ran high to daughters. Simon lived to an impressive age and died rich. So this explains how their ancestor Simon started his practice of medicine, pharmacy in America, and then he bought some slaves, even though strictly speaking it was against his Christian principles. He married a wife and eventually died a rich man with many daughters.